Hi everyone, Nick Creticus of Nick Seasonal Decor. Give me 1 second while I pull up the feed and make sure we're live. Today I'm using the Meebo. We haven't done that in a pretty long time, so I just want to make sure that everything's okay and that it's working. So as you guys come in, let me know that you're able to see me and hear me okay. Sometimes it gives us problems, but hopefully it's working today. So I see Michelle, Sheila, Paula, welcome. So what we're going to be doing today is a Christmas wreath, and like I always tell you, in all honesty, I put these supplies on my table about 5 minutes ago, so I'm not 100% sure what we're going to create tonight, but hopefully it turns out great. Hi Michelle, hi Diane. So let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better, and you don't have to see the clutter on either side. It is quite messy in here, so bear with me when it comes to that. So you can see the table, awesome. Hi Annette. So for starters, I picked out about 10 signs, give or take, that we can use. So let me know which signs you like the best. This one says, Dear Santa, define naughty. This one, more than likely, I'm not going to use because it has green, and we're not going to be using any green today. But this says, Ho, ho, ho. Hi, Jerry. Thanks, Paula. Paula says she can hear and see me. Awesome. This one says Merry Christmas. It's a little bit shabby chic, a little bit rustic with the wood grain. So you see me just tossing these off to the side. That's just for the sake of the video. I will make sure to put the protectors back on because when I store my signs, you know, sometimes I rustle through my baskets and I don't want to ruin any of these signs. This one says North Pole. I think that might be the winner in my opinion. And then we also got a vertical sign. This one says, Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Hi Andrea. So if you guys don't mind taking a second and sharing this video, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps us to reach and inspire as many people as possible. And then our last sign says, Dear Santa, I can explain. I really like this one as well. So let me know which one you guys like the best. Hi Darlene. For the time being, I think I'm going to go with this one. I really like this one. So I'm just going to put this to the side for now. Hi, Peggy. Okay, so let's get started. I also have a 21-inch roll of deco mesh. And we're going to be doing the poof method on this. And then we're also going to come back in with some curls to kind of jazz things up a little bit. So this roll of mesh came from Hobby Lobby. You know, everybody has an opinion on different types of materials. So if Hobby Lobby mesh is not your favorite mesh to work with, feel free to substitute with whatever mesh you have on hand. And I like to just drop my roll of mesh to the ground. And I always overlap it. Reason being, I don't like fraying, especially in designs like this, which aren't rustic at all. I don't want to have any fraying. So I'm not being precise. Just grabbing it. But we forgot to do my first step that I always do, which is just open up the twist ties. Hi Trenton. Hi Josie, share to my business and personal page. Thank you. So this wreath's a little wonky. The twist ties are extremely long on this. But this wreath frame came from Hobby Lobby as well. So I'm just opening up the twist real quick. It makes it so much easier to add your mesh. Trust me on this. It takes an extra second to open them up, but I think it makes a huge difference when you go to add the mesh and saves on some frustration. Love your video, so inspiring. Thank you. Utah, welcome. I shipped a wreath today to Utah. So now I'm just placing the mesh that we just rolled up inside of one of the twists. So typically I recommend 10-inch poofs, but for those of you that have been watching me for a while, I don't measure them out, I just eyeball it. So I'm working around the perimeter to start off with, and then we can come back in with some curls afterwards. but we're going to be adding some of these. Aren't those cool? Give some hearts if you love poinsettias. So as many of you guys know, I love working with fresh flowers and real flowers and incorporating them into my designs. There's some rules that I like to follow when it comes to fresh flowers and adding flowers to your wreaths. I never use poinsettias other than for Christmas. Same goes with amaryllis. Those two flowers I strictly use for Christmas and I never put into my winter designs. Hi Marilyn from Michigan, welcome. So I'm just going to post some links if you want to take a look at those. I've pre-listed the wreath we're creating tonight on Etsy. So towards the end, if you like this design, it will be listed for sale. So now we've added all of our mesh around the perimeter. And this is what it looks like so far. So now what I'm going to do is, rather than cut it, I'm just going to bring the mesh towards the middle and start adding some more. Hi Crystal, welcome everybody. So we've added our deco mesh. Our next step is going to actually just be cutting those off. We're not going to add any more of this metallic mesh to our wreath frame. So I'm just going to cut off with an overhang like that. Take that, fold it back into the mesh, and then just place it into a twist. The reason I do that is to help, again, prevent as much fraying as we possibly can. And then just kick my mesh under the table. So this is what we have so far. This is the poof technique using 21-inch roll of deco mesh. I get asked all the time how we add 21-inch rolls of mesh to our wreaths. This is how I do it. It's always worked for me. I don't recommend you cut it in half. I get that question all the time as well. I never cut my 21-inch mesh to create 10-inch pieces. You know, the way this was designed is to be used as 21-inch. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut some of our snowdrift mesh. This is 10.5 inch by 10 yards. Isn't this great? I get to see you on my big screen TV. That's awesome. So I hope you can't see every single pore. And for the first or second time in a live video, we're going to be using this device. A lot of you guys send me tools to use in the videos that I do. So this came from Susie's Mesh Roller. You can find it on Facebook, Susie's Wreaths and Things, and Etsy shop, Susie's Wreath Shop. And I think this is an amazing tool. What we're going to do is we're going to put our mesh into it, and it'll make it a little bit easier to cut some curls that we can add to our wreath. So it goes in just like that, and then we can just roll out our mesh and cut what we need. So I already have one leftover piece from a previous roll. This was a brand new roll. So rather than throw these out, I always save them, and we can use them in projects like tonight. So since this is more of a premium deco mesh, all I'm going to do is cut it. I'm left-handed, so the hole on my cutting board is on the left-hand side, which makes it a little bit more complex. So I'm cutting it from 18 to 8, which makes 10-inch pieces that we'll use to create curls like that. You know what? We'll cut it from 6 to 18 to make it a little bit thicker. Typically, we'll cut these about 15 to 18 inches if it's basic deco mesh, but since this is a little bit more fancy, I'm going to cut it from 6 to 18. And just toss them aside for now. Over 1,000 people. Thanks, you guys. That's awesome. So typically, these wreaths have about 18 twist ties, so we're going to need to cut about 18 of these. Great gift too, exactly. I notice you do not fluff out your poofs. I've never really gone the extra mile to do that. In the end, we put a lot of products on top of it, so you can't really see it all that much. But I'm kind of a lazy designer, if we're going to be honest. If I don't have to sit there and fluff them out, I tend not to. If it looks bad or if it needs it, I definitely do it. But other than that, I like to get away with it. So I've cut 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 pieces. We'll cut a couple more because my table is being overrun right now. How's Tanya doing? She's doing great. I was with her earlier. We grabbed a coffee like we usually do. But she's doing great. She's working a lot. She wants to be in a live video very soon. We were talking about that this morning. So with her schedule willing, she'll be in a live video soon. If you tuck the mesh under that little bar up front, it keeps it in good placement. Awesome, yeah, so you can put it underneath the ruler. I've usually just do it like this. Unless it's a 21-inch roll, it doesn't really make a huge difference in my opinion, because it's not really going anywhere. I'll just drag it out. But yes, you could put it behind the ruler. But I think this is an amazing idea, especially if you do a lot of mesh wreaths. Okay, I lost track as to how many I cut, so let's get to adding some of these before we have a million of these pieces left over. Hi Heidi. So now what we're going to do is we're not going to add these as ruffles. I don't want to cover up the red mesh too much. So we're going to add these as curls, and that'll add a different texture to our wreath. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll them up into little curls like this, pinch them, and place them in each twist. So I do things a little bit differently than other designers. I always open up my twists. I do not like my mesh wreaths to be overly tall or poofy. So I open them up, and what that'll do with the ribbons and the curls is it'll kind of make the products we add on top kind of shoot out from the middle. I don't want anything to just be lying flat on the top. I want to have depth. So I'm debating on if we should do every other. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with every other twist, and then if we want to do it in every twist, we certainly can. Hey Nick, how's your weather there? Is it chilly yet? Absolutely. I prefer it to be colder, but yeah, the leaves are changing. It got dark at, I was talking about this earlier, it gets dark at like 6:30 now, which is unbelievable. So now I'm placing some around the perimeter. Again, opening up these twists as well. You'll also notice that I'm pointing all of this mesh away from the middle. So where we pinch in the middle, the tails or the curls are going away from this the circle part in the middle. I find that important. I think it gives the best effect. So now we can place our sign and see if we should add more. Since we have so many cut, which I could use in future projects, I'm just going to place them in every single twist. Are you going to ship fresh Christmas wreaths again? So that's what I'm going to do again this year for the second time. So if you are interested in fresh wreaths, I'll have a post about it within the next month or so. We are having a limited amount of wreaths this year. I can only keep up with so many of them. So basically with this, the early bird definitely gets a worm because I can't be making the amount we used to be making. It's just absurd. So we have a couple more to go. I love learning new things from you. Thank you. So let me know in the comments section which types of wreaths you prefer the most. Do you prefer mesh or do you prefer grapevine florals? Many of you guys know that I prefer working with florals any day over mesh. But of course we mix it up every now and then and do some mesh designs. Hi from North Carolina, welcome. So just a couple more left. But isn't that pretty so far? So we have one final piece, and for those of you that don't want to watch me cut mesh or add mesh, these videos are free lives, so you could always share this, or you could always just come back to my page and watch it later on the replay, and fast forward, rewind, see what you want to see, don't see what you don't want to see. But that's what we have so far. Like I said, all of these are pointing away from the wreath. Think of this middle portion as sunflower seeds, and the white mesh we've added as sunflower petals. Always have the petals shoot away from the seeds. So let's get started adding some ribbon. So we have a couple different ribbons we can use today. I think we're going to be using, let's see how these two look together. So we have the North Pole sign, or we have the Dear Santa Explained. And then we have a couple ribbons we can add. And I think those are the only ribbons we're going to be adding. I like this one, but as you can see, it's a little too bright for the signs we're working with. So I'm going to hold off on adding that. We also have this, which is a 1.5 inch. So let's get to adding these. What we're going to use to cut our ribbons, quick and easy, are Perfect Tails from the Soul Sisters. You can pick these up at soulsisters.com, I believe, and I'll have the links for that as well. And here's a card. Yep, www.creativesoulsisters.com. And I love working with these. So we're going to use, more than likely, the 12 inch with a 2.5 inch ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run my ribbon against the 12 inch, kind of make a little nick, and see if I think that's long enough with 6 inch tails on either side. We'll do 13. Lucky 13. So these come in sizes, I believe, 8 inches to 14. So I'm cutting 18 of these at 13 inches in length, and it took us less than 20 seconds I think. It could have been a little bit longer, to cut all the tails. Of course, it didn't dovetail them, but that's perfectly fine. We can dovetail them after. I just got my perfect tails. I love them. Awesome! So now I'm going to do that with the 1.5 inch ribbon. Cut 18 of these as well. Drop my ribbon to the floor. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And that's how quick it is to cut our tails. Before, we would have Tanya do that, and by a show of likes, who remembers Tanya's first video where I had her cut some ribbons for a spring or summer wreath, and she cut them, supposed to cut them 12 inches, and by the end, they ended up being like 4 or 5 inches. That was a long time ago. And I'd like to say she's improved much, but we're getting there. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly dovetail these. I'm not going to dovetail the 1.5 inch for the sake of the video, but I'll do that afterwards. So I'm just taking a clump of them, folding them in half, using my very sharp Fiskars scissors, cutting notches into them. And I do have a list of all of my recommended supplies. It's totally free to look at them from Amazon. You can look at them at nickseasonaldecor.com. And it has all of the materials that I use on a frequent basis. My favorites. Nick, you upgraded your scissors. Bye-bye, Betty Crocker scissors. So I have, these were a gift from either my dad or my grandmother. They used their 40 or 50 or even 60% off coupon for it. I know that much, because I would have went right back and returned it. But I got a pair of these for Christmas from my sister, and as you guys may remember, we did a completely different setup in my basement where I film, and somehow they got lost. I'm still looking for them, but they're somewhere. But yes, I used Betty Crocker scissors for the longest time. I'm very frugal, so if I can only spend $1 for scissors, I definitely like to. And those would last me a long time. And rather than fiddle with them and sharpen them, all I did was just throw them away because they were only $1 each. So we have all of those cut. We're not going to dovetail the 1.5 inch for video's sake. But let's get to adding these tails together. So I'm going to take the 1.5 inch, place it on top of the 2.5 inch, and I'll dovetail these after, like I said. And we're going to place them in each twist. I'm making sure to open up the twist and place them inside. Yep, soulsisters.com. You can pick these up in varying sizes along with other products that they sell. You have inspired me so much. I made 3 wreaths and they all sold. Thanks, Nick, for sharing your talent. Thank you. I love to hear stories like that. So I'm not really going to fiddle with them now. We can fluff it afterwards. I like doing things step by step. So my first step is just placing all of the ribbon inside, and then we can fluff it after. Like I said, I'm making sure to open up the twist and place my ribbon as far into it as I can. So if you guys don't mind sharing this video, I greatly appreciate it. Like I said before, I love inspiring people, and I see a lot of people in the comments section that started making wreaths after watching these. So if we can have as many people like that as possible, I think it's amazing, and we have such an amazing community of wreath makers and designers. So now I'm just placing them around the perimeter, doing the same thing we did on the inside. Almost done, you guys. A few more left. All right, one more left. Oh, I lied, that's it. So we've added all of our ribbon to our wreath. And now what we can do is begin to fluff. So as I said before, for those of you that are just tuning in, I will dovetail the 1.5 inch ribbon afterwards, but I don't want to keep you guys on here for too long dovetailing. So what I'm doing for starts is I'm placing all of the ribbon, making sure it's facing outwards like we did with the white mesh. Hi from Michigan, welcome. If I wanted to add lights, how and when do you add it? So for my own house, I don't really like seeing cords. I really like my lights to be nestled inside. So I would do it before I actually added the ribbons, if this is for your own home. And if you don't mind, in case the lights burn out, throwing out the wreath or taking all of the stuff off and replacing it. and putting it back on after you change up the lights. That's what I do for my own home. I don't sell things with lights typically, but virtually you can add them really at any stage. It's whenever you want to add the lights. Okay, so we have all of the ribbons separated. And that's what it looks like so far. So to become a florist, because I really like working with fresh flowers, but I've been designing stuff since I was a little kid. So now we have some of these poinsettias that I'm just going to place inside for the time being just to see if we like them. These came from Walmart. They were $4 or $5 each, so not the cheapest thing, but I think they're amazing. And they're a felt material, and they have wires in them to be able to manipulate them. And these are poinsettias, so like I said earlier, I don't use these for anything but Christmas, not for my winter designs. We'll use other flowers like hydrangeas. For Christmas, I only use, but I only use these flowers for Christmas. So this is what it looks like with 3 poinsettias. You can dovetail the 1.5 inch if you want to replicate this beforehand. How many wreaths do you make a day during the holidays? It really depends on the day. You know, sometimes we do 25, 30. Obviously not artificial. We do fresh during Christmas time. But we do we do a lot. And again, like I said, if you're interested in those, the early bird gets the worm, and I will have that link posted soon because I'm not going to be able to do as many wreaths as we did in years past. So this is what it's going to look like. We added a couple flowers. I haven't attached the flowers. I haven't attached the sign. But look at that. Give some hearts if that's pretty. So simple. Once we dovetail the 1.5 inch ribbon and attach the poinsettias, it'll be even better. Attach the sign. And what we always could do is come back with some additional picks if we wanted to. So here I have some from Walmart from a long time ago. I didn't break it apart, but you could break it apart and place it inside and have a little bit more color and texture. What you can also do is take some of these that came from Hobby Lobby. These are one of my favorite ornaments, and poke in a few of those as well. Gorgeous from Michigan. Missed all of the wreath making of it. So the replay will be posted if you want to share it to your own timeline, and you can watch it from the beginning. But I'm not hot gluing these in at this point. But for those of you that are interested in kind of upgrading your wreath making, my wreath making group will be on sale for $15 a month for 8 videos, like the wreaths that I've been posting recently, till November 1st. And then once that happens, it's going up to $25 a month. That you can sign up in the link I posted in the comment section. And if you sign up now, you'll be locked in at that rate for as long as you're in the group. But who wants to see me add these now? So I just placed them in just so you guys can get a view of how it's going to turn out before we start gluing everything. I like it with the balls. How do you put those in there? So I will just hot glue these. These are very lightweight. I've never had an issue with these falling off. For larger ornaments, I always make sure to hot glue them, but also wire them in with a pipe cleaner and add hot glue around the little cap to hang the ornament. So I will dovetail these afterwards, but let's get these in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place them inside. And these have a clip on the back, so I'm just going to clip them in place, and I will attach a zip tie off camera. clip that I'm attaching, and I'm placing 3 of them in a triangle pattern. Okay. So that's 2 of them. I think these are really cool. I haven't worked with these in the past, but they just have a clip, and I think it makes it a lot easier to get them in place if you're a person that likes to trial things before securing it. I often never do what we're doing today, which is kind of play with it a little bit. I usually just place it on and then make it work. Nick, in your group, can you save the videos? You absolutely can. I create a material list and a file with all of the videos and all of the materials I use with exact links or similar products that you can save at the end of the month and watch for, you know, your entire life. Whenever you want to go back to it and refer to it, those videos will always be there. So I download them to YouTube under a private link, and then you can refer back to them. So for starters, I'm just going to staple this wire on the back, so in case my customer doesn't want the sign on it, they can take it off and hang it elsewhere. Using my staple gun, I'm adding a couple staples. We've dealt with these signs before, so I know that the staples don't go through the front. And I'm using 1/4-inch staples, so if your sign's a little bit thin, or if you're a little weary on it staying or going to the front of the sign, you can always bulk it up with some ribbon like we've done in the past. But now let's attach our sign. I can't wait to make my own. You inspire me. I always wonder how to make a wreath. Awesome. That's what we like to hear. So I'm just feeding the wire through the wreath, and I'm attaching securely to the metal frame and not just the mesh. You want to make sure that it's secured to the metal so it doesn't sag over time. And there we have it. So typically when I do things on camera, I kind of like it to give you the best view, and then off camera I'll adjust accordingly, fluff it, take good pictures of it, and have it listed. But if you are interested in purchasing this before we finish it up tonight, the link will be in the comment section. So now off camera I'm adding hot glue using my glue skillet, and we're going to place these ornaments. White ornaments that we can pepper in if we wanted to. I'll place one up here. So I use a lot of hot glue, especially in designs like this with these ornaments. These ornaments hold up fine with just hot glue. But any larger ornament or any heavier ornament, I always make sure to wire in and do in multiple steps with pipe cleaners and extra hot glue. And these are $10 for 12 of them from Hobby Lobby. I'm gluing right to the mesh, and I'm making sure there's good contact with enough of the mesh that these aren't loose or come apart. Now we can just poke in a few of the white. So I've added 3, we'll add 1 more. And we'll place that actually behind the poinsettia, so it's just peeking out. And there we have it. So off camera, I'll fluff, and I'll be sure to dovetail the 1.5 inch ribbon. I didn't want to keep you guys too long, so that's why we didn't do it. But here's the pretty much finished product before we fix it up a little bit and take pictures. But if you like these live videos and you want to see more of them, to give me the oomph, typically what I like to see is people commenting that they like them and they want to see more of them. It kind of gives me the oomph and the desire to make more of these videos. So I always love to hear your feedback. And if you have any suggestions as to what you'd like to see next or in the future, let me know. And we should be live in the next few days. We have another home talk tutorial coming out this Sunday. We'll be on Bodabra next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. So I just want to say how much I appreciate you guys, and thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone. Also, this week we're going to have the dog paw print wreath done. I'm waiting for the weather to be good so I can film it outside, and that'll be posted in the next few days. So thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye, everyone.